surgery was named after him. Take us back what you remember about Dad playing ball.
So I was 12 and he retired. I used to, when I would go to the ballpark with him, I would full gear, dress up, Yankees uniform, stirrups, none of these socks, like full stirrups, tape them up, glove, wristband, go to the park. Highlight for me was going to take ground balls in the outfield at Yankee Stadium. You couldn't do it on the infield because it was all prepared. And then going in the tunnels and watching him prepare, watching him throw BP, watching Don Mattingly take pitches. He never swung. He would take and track pitches. And I was just getting a glimpse of these guys who were just my dad's friends. I didn't know the capacity as to what I was exposed to. And then nights he pitched, we'd either miss school or go to school late the next day because we would go out afterwards. And I still remember to this day, I have no idea how he did. I wouldn't follow pitches. I wouldn't even watch how he worked batters. It was none of that. Yeah. I just loved when he would come out of games in Yankee Stadium because the whole place would standing O, regardless of how he pitched. And I'm like, Mom, is he coming out? Mom, let me know when he's coming out because I'd be playing. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I think he's coming out. And then I'd stand on my seat and would look, and he'd walk out and Yankee Stadium would clap for him. And I got goosebumps now. That was my remembrance of what he was like as a player.
Wow. So Dad was throwing hard, great pitcher, won all these awards, but something happened physically, right? So tell us what you remember about that or what he's recounted for you regarding his throwing arm.
So now when he had the surgery, I wasn't born yet. He had already pitched 11 seasons in the big leagues. His team was going for the World Series that year in 1974. He was 13-3. He had had elbow pain for about 11 years. He had had over 40 cortisone shots.
Wow.
So his body was warning him for a pretty good amount of time. For 11 seasons, that's a career. If he just shut it down and I say he made this professional, spectacular, superlative performance 3 times. 1, to pitch 11 seasons at the highest level of baseball and be good, an all-star, World Series candidate, everything else. To come back from a surgery that had never been done. That's 2. Just something to throw 1 pitch after a surgery that had never been done. And then to pitch another 14, 15 years after that and never miss a start because of his elbow. So what I think, and this is how he talks about it, he was grinding through 11 years, figuring out how to get batters out, how to get the highest level of batters out. 13-3 in 1974, I think he started to realize he's figured it out. If I stay there and sink the ball away more times than they can make a correction, I'm going to win. And then this happened, and it had never been done before. A ligament just exploded. It was when Dr. Job got in and cut it, it was spaghetti. It was just an explosion. But again, his body had been warning him up until this point with nothing in plan, no options. Dr. Job goes, I've got this surgery I've done on polio patients' ankles. It's never been done on a thrower before. We could do it, but it's going to be so that you can like throw to your kid and be a father and be a man and be a husband. But it's not, we're not talking pitching. And my dad goes, hold the phone. Is there any chance I have that I can pitch again? And Job, looking at this crazy man across from the table, goes, 1%, maybe? A 1%, 1 in 100%, a 1 in 100 chance. And my dad just needed that 1, and he goes, let's do it. And the rest is history, with no protocol to follow.
Wow.
So never been done before. The roadmap wasn't there.
So how long was he out for games after the surgery?
So it happened in the end of September. He missed that off season, the whole next season, and then came back in 76. Now get this. Having never gone through this surgery, there's no plan, there's no expectation, nobody knows what to go. Dr. Job goes, you're going to have to listen to your body on this thing. We're following you, which is profound in medicine, which I think is fantastic, right? So he made his first, at a year and a day later, his first 7 starts were in 28 days.
Wow.
But they're just like, okay, we need to figure out if this thing's going to hold or not. So there's something there. Do you know what I mean? It's the challenge of the body because the body loves that challenge to grow and adapt. 7 starts in 28 days. He was 10-10 that season, comeback player of the year, and then he's a 3-time 20-game winner, 4-time All-Star, all this stuff afterwards. Something worked.
Was it because of that success he showed after the surgery that they were like, we're just going to name this thing Tommy John?
That's interesting. So the original name that Dr. Job now had to keep giving in interviews was the ulnar collateral ligament transplant surgery using the palmaris longus tendon. Say that.
It's easier to say Tommy John surgery.
And he goes, the surgery I did on Tommy John, that Tommy John surgery. And then it was like, it was the hook. Yeah, that was it. And then it went from there. And then but he's still the most successful one, being patient zero.
Patient zero.
You know what I mean? With no roadmap. There's something there.
So the Dr. Job explained it to him. This is supposed to be done after your athletic career so you can have a comfortable life. Where, and talk about the progression, did it turn into this, well, it's going to be a crutch for my athletic career if I should throw something out. I just keep on going. I can just keep on going. I mean, where did you see that progression?
So that's what the greats, if you ask the greats in any industry, hey, what's it take to be great? They'll look at you puzzled. They'll furl their eyebrows and they're like, what are you talking about? What's the thing? There's 1,000 things throughout the day. All the time, you're concentrating on that goal. Everything you do is moving towards that goal. So me as a child, when I would sit and watch him, I didn't really know the capacity of what was going on. I had no idea how to digest it till much later looking back, but then I'm like, he would drive with a softball wedged between his fingers because he wanted pliability of his fingers. Wow. He would squeeze theraputty all the time. He was walking around. You remember that theraputty? It was different colors. He would do a rice bucket in his room. He had a Versa climber in his room. He had all these cuff weights around his ankles. Like everything he did throughout his day was in line to come back and be a big league pitcher again. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's this collection of these thousands of mundane acts that put together are the masterpiece. But the brushstroke by itself, that doesn't, the one single shot. And so being that there was nothing, he went on feel. He threw every day off of a mound. He never long tossed. Playing catch was on a mound because he's a pitcher. The mound's his office, so he gets on. He took one day off a week, that was Sunday, and what he noticed was his best days pitching were Saturday, his worst days were Monday. So he did off the mound, threw every day, and he'd throw for time. Where if you and I are gonna throw for time, instead of this boxed in 40 pitch kind of let's throw for 7 minutes. If you feel good, you're going to get more out of that 7 minutes. If you're kind of off, you're going to work a little slower, but you're still going to get 7 minutes. He'd sometimes throw for 90 minutes off the mound, 300 pitches. That's how you master a craft.
Right. Over the years, then people started not liking it. Okay. At what point did the surgery make that transition to being an aid, not a second part of life kind of a procedure? That's
the hard part. It's one of those things, we don't fear it anymore. I was on Twitter and this guy was like, let the kid have it. They've perfected the surgery. There's nothing, it's there. You should be lucky to have it. Wait a second, what? To throw one pitch, it's like a 80% success rate, 90% success rate to throw one pitch at the previous level you were at before. I'm sorry. You could rehab with chimps in a cave, come out and throw one pitch after the surgery's done. The surgery is not where the magic is. It's all the stuff afterwards. And Dr. Job even said that. 40% of it's me. I'm just replacing the part. TJ's got the rest. For the rest of his career, that's where that magic is. In my opinion, that magic's lacking, where we go to the surgeon, save me. I'm going to fit into this protocol, save me. There's no back and forth independent identity within that because it is not an arm issue. It's a total body breakdown. Like everything has to be taken in. Only previously was it addressed from him having no protocol, that he had to feel everything from his toes to his thumbs, from his emotions, from his sleep, from his nutrition, from all this stuff that we just think, oh yeah, that too. But now we have guys having it 2-3 times. Now we're seeing it majority in teens.
And talk about that. As a doctor, when you're seeing these young kids doing this because they've been so hyper-focused on one sport, throw. I mean, what goes through your mind when you're seeing parents doing this to their kids?
I wish it was baseball only. It's all sports. There's concussions. There's pediatric ACL tears. A 9-year-old with an ACL scar already.
Yeah,
an ACL surgery scar. Hello? It should be broken bones and bruises and cuts. So there's something dysfunctional, and there's people coming in with situations. What sport do you play? I don't. It's so much bigger than sports. So the compounding causes, and I say this, it's the American de-evolution lifestyle, and I said that correct, the de-evolution lifestyle, the $17 billion a year youth sports industry. That's bigger than the NFL, and the NFL's entertainment, and not healthy, but youth sports is now bigger than that. And then we've got the parents' race to keep up with the Joneses, and that sport, everybody loses.
The parents that are pushing their kids, and what's the message to them?
You know what's sad, and the youth sports industry is targeting them, and nobody wants to hurt anybody. It's all out for money, and there's just a